Welcome, collectors. Today we're back with another remarkable banknote from India. This isn't just money, it's a blueprint of imperial control born from an unexpected printing problem and a major shift in colonial currency production. This 10 rupee note from the government of India represents the golden age of British Raj currency design issued under the reign of King George V. Look closely at the front of the note. On the right, King George V wears the ornate imperial crown of India. This masterpiece of jewelry is directly tied to one of the most staggering spectacles in global history, the Delhi Darbar of 1911. A Darbar was a mass ceremonial gathering borrowed from Mughal tradition, where princes, nobles, and officials gathered to affirm loyalty to the crown. King George traveled to India to be declared emperor, making this the only Darbar in history actually attended by a reigning British monarch. Because the British crown jewels could not be taken to India, a separate imperial crown of India had to be specially created for the event. It was embedded with over 6,000 diamonds, emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. It was so incredibly massive that the king wrote in his diary it severely hurt his head after wearing it for 3.5 hours. On the left side of the note, the clean, empty window reveals a highly sophisticated security feature for its time, a crisp, embedded watermark duplicating the king's profile. At the center is the solemn legal promise signed by J.B. Taylor, an elite civil servant who served as the additional controller of currency before later becoming the governor of the Reserve Bank of India. But the real secret of this specific note lies in a high-stakes production shift. The earliest versions of this series were printed in England using a distinct green ink. However, that original green ink proved poorly suited to Indian conditions and often faded toward a bluish shade after circulation and exposure. At roughly the same time, production was being transferred to the newly opened India Security Press in Nashik, where revised versions of the note were produced. This historic move was a calculated strategic transition designed to tighten anti-counterfeiting security, drastically slash manufacturing costs, scale up domestic production capacity, and significantly reduce India's reliance on overseas printing. For collectors, Nashik issues mark a turning point in Indian monetary history the moment the subcontinent began producing its own banknotes rather than relying almost entirely on British printers. Now, look at the reverse side. The top left corner features a prominent crown sitting above the bold letters GRB stands for Georgius Rex Imperator, Latin for George, King and Emperor, the ultimate seal of British sovereignty. Center showcases India's vast cultural footprint, featuring a central language panel where the value 10 rupees is spelled out in regional languages, enabling trade across thousands of miles of diverse territory. Turn your attention to the bottom right corner to find one of the most recognizable symbols of the British Raj, the Star of India, encircled by the imperial motto, Heaven's Light. Our guide. After decades of circulation, withdrawal, and political transition, surviving examples in high grade are surprisingly scarce today. Depending on its preservation, a King George V 10 rupee note with this classic Taylor signature is highly prized by collectors and can command hundreds at auction today. The King George V 10 rupee note. History in your hands. Please subscribe if you love learning about rare currency hidden meanings and untold stories found on banknotes from around the globe.